It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, I had a phone call from a retired executive from Kodak, and the gentleman said to me, hey, Ray, I just wanted to reach out to you and tell you about a conversation that I had with a couple other Kodak alumni. I couldn't wait to hear this. And he said, well, we were all drinking some beers at a local pub, high-fiving each other. We're kind of excited because we're no longer going to be the laughingstocks of a business failure. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, we're looking really hard at your industry. We're looking at the document imaging channel. We're looking at that dealer distribution, the overselling of A3s, that whole business model. And we're sitting there kind of, well, we're high-fiving each other because we know that it's all going to collapse because the stubbornness won't evacuate the channel. Just like the stubbornness didn't evacuate Kodak. And so these gentlemen are excited that they're going to be able to go to their graves and not be laughed at, because people will be laughing at a whole nother industry, at a whole nother channel. I got to be honest with you, I was having a hard time arguing for my friends in the document imaging channel, because there is a lot of stubbornness, there is a lot of complacency. And so I thought I would take that advice, try to warn my friends in the document imaging channel, not to let that come true for those Kodak alumni. Not to let that vision come true. And the only way we're going to do that, my friends, is we got to have an intervention inside the document imaging channel, and I want to call on all the young executives throughout the entire channel. Those young executives that understand market realities based on buyers today. Those young executives that live in digital landscapes, that really know how to navigate between that intersection I talk about, between the digital and physical world. I want all these young executives to get together, and they need to lock these senior leaders in the conference rooms. And folks, we got to have an intervention. You notice I got all these young whippersnappers up here, as these old folks call them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wake up to the realities in the market. Bring in your young leaders. Bring in your young leaders and let them argue with you about why you should be moving the way your customers are moving. And why you should be doing things based on your customers' realities, not some fantasies from 1990 or 2000. We got really smart people in this industry. And unfortunately, these really smart young people in our industry are going to start running for the hills if we don't start waking up to the realities of the place that we're in. And the place that we're in is a digital world. Being online, e-commerce is not going to take away your value. It's going to add to your value. And these young executives know that. Listen to what they tell you. Just because you think you have to do it the way you did it in 1990 doesn't mean it's right. Those executives at Kodak thought that way. Those executives at Blockbuster thought that way. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please face the realities in our market? I cannot even comprehend, when I talked to my buddy Norm McConaughey, how a dealer would say, well, we decided we just don't think e-commerce is going to work for us. That's fantastic for you, but you're going to continue to lose hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business as an industry if you don't adapt ways and let your customers buy from you with a digital platform. It's just the reality in the marketplace. Ladies and gentlemen, I read an article recently. It's a fantastic article. It's about our friends over at Amazon. They're going to spend $18 billion in 2020. $18 billion in 2020. Folks, 2020's only got a few more months left. What Amazon's doing is they're helping businesses sell more stuff online. Now, I'm sure as hell not saying you ought to sign up with Amazon, because they take all the money from when you do sell something online. Plus, they take your customers and all that other stuff people say anyway. Kind of like some manufacturers with these ridiculous contracts that are out there today. Give me all the information about your customer because I'm going to move to an easier way to do business and I'll steal them from you. That's probably what some of these folks are thinking. But ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice but to adopt programs that allow us to deliver our products and services the way the customers are buying those products and services. Why are we continuing to ignore this? So we can continue to ignore this e-commerce conversation. We can hide under our desk. We can refuse to listen to those young executives that try to intervention with us. We can say, you're wrong, we're right. But folks, if you do that, I got to get my pen out because it's interesting what happens here. Let me get my pen out. I got to write on my board. If you continue to ignore e-commerce, you're going to allow a major aggressor with zero objections to nullifying you. You're going to allow a major aggressor with zero objections to nullify you as they come into your marketplace with some of this $18 billion they're investing and take away your great relationships and deliver those customers a better experience. Now, I got to admit, some digital platforms, when they give that customer the experience, might not be very good for some of your customers. But you got to ask yourself, how many could it be good for? How many customers of mine could I sell in a different way and they'd be happy? This isn't an all or nothing. This is about integration between the digital and physical world. And those that continue to ignore this should sell their damn business and retire. Otherwise, I assure you, half a decade from now, there's going to be people sitting around a table talking about the biggest disaster of an industry called the document imaging channel. I'd rather have them continue to talk about Kodak and Blockbuster, and I'm sure you would too. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this: status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.